everyone, Kelly Bear here. Full disclosure, I am filming this video straight off the back of the last video that I did, which should be the Oracle Spread Machine video. So yeah, if you wonder what that's all about, I'll try to remember to link that in the description box below. If not, it should be very easy to find upon my channel feed. Yeah, so today we're looking at other ways that you can work with Oracle decks. Now again, same with the last video, some of these things I have done, some of these I'm kind of just trying stuff out and you're along for the ride. I'm just sharing the process. So yeah, sort of deep diving with Oracle decks. I'm just trying to get the most out of this sort of limited selection of Oracle decks that I have in my collection. I feel like they need to work harder because there's less of them, and I'm demand a bit more at the moment from my Oracle decks. So one of the ways is to work with the guidebook that comes with the deck, if it comes with a guidebook. Some don't. So for example, the Earthbound Oracle, which I shared in the previous video, that doesn't have a guidebook. Some have small guidebooks, like the Empty Cup Oracle has a small but sort of packs a decent punch guidebook, and then some have big honky chonky honka chunker. I don't know what I was trying to say there. It came out all wrong. A big chunka hunker, is that it? A hunka chunka? I don't know. What am I saying? I am tired. You could probably hear it in my voice. I'm tired and a little delirious. They have like big honking. That's it. Great honking books. That's what I was trying to say. Great honking books that come with them. So yeah, I am going to grab the first deck I'm going to show you. So here we have one of my favourite Oracle decks. It's Between the Worlds by Monika Baderski, and it's a sort of, well, it says a bone and curio casting Oracle, featuring a number of her very own curios and tchotchkes that she's collected over the years that she has painted. And this is just a small selection of the many hundreds of curios and bones and things that she has collected over her lifetime, and she just picked the ones that she felt drawn to sort of creating in card form, and it's a really fun deck. It can really pack a wallop, but you know, Monika Baderski, I really like her artwork. I haven't had a real proper look at her latest tarot deck. I need to remember to do that, but she really shines as well when it comes to the books that she creates. She writes, she designs the cards, paints the cards, writes the book herself. And what I really like is there's always a real sort of juicy meatiness to her cards. So here, for example, you get sort of your basic, sorry. What's that from? I'm thinking of The Good Place. You get the number of the card, the title of the card, and then you get like a quick, keyword or two. You get a little story. So this one's called Destiny, and you get a story relating to the charm or the curio, or just sort of the theme of the item. And you get like a little bit of information about the item, where or how it came into Monika's collection in her life. You get like a little quick message, and then you get some like advice, and you get both in upright and reverse, and then you get reflections, and you get this in every single one of Monika Baderski's decks. So I have the Shadowland Tarot, the Shadowland Lenormand, and I imagine her latest tarot deck is the same, where you get journal prompts, right? And of course, if you pull this card, you could do all of the journal prompts, or you could do just pick one of them, right? And that's so working with this is one way to work with the Oracle. And it sounds like really obvious, but I think sometimes we will like pull an Oracle card. Like I like to pull an Oracle card for the week, and I've recently been using this. I was originally trying to pull this in my a message of encouragement and support for the week ahead, but this is another one of those decks, much like the Earthbound Oracle, that I found didn't kind of work for that kind of question or sort of context. And the way that I ended up working with this, and quite a lot recently recently was a talisman for the week ahead, a talisman to work with, a talisman to keep in mind, a talisman to have, you know, for the week ahead. And in that capacity, I found it really, really powerful and really, really fun as well. So if we're to work with this deck, for example, so yeah, what was I saying? That was it. We have a tendency to maybe like pull an oracle card as a clarification, or maybe an oracle card as like a, I don't know, just like a little extra something. And it's like, it's not that deep, you know, but we can go deep. And I think there's more and more oracle decks coming out that sort of lend themselves to that. One that immediately comes to mind is the Wanderer's Oracle. I work with is it not Wanderers? Weaver's Oracle, beg your pardon, sorry. The Weaver's Oracle, Wandering Oracle, is the people that put out like the Tarot Serene and the Marshmallow Marseille and so on. The Weaver's Oracle that you know, I work with one weaver per quarter, because they really pack a wallop. So yeah, so let's give this a little shuffle and be like, I've got my little journal. I don't have my little journal. I'm just saying, like, it's, I don't know, it's like a Sunday evening. I've had my shower. I've got my clean bedding on, my fresh gym jams, my fluffy socks. I've got a mug of some delicious brew of herbal tea I've made, or maybe I've got a little biscuit, I don't know. And I'm just like, I'm going to get my little journal, my little divination journal, and I'm going to shuffle. I'm going to get into the zone. I'm going to do a little bit of a deep dive. So you might have a question, maybe not. Maybe you have a question and you pull a card. Maybe you're like, I'm just going to pull a token, a talisman, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so 44, the Devil Head. I feel like I can zoom in a little bit on this one, because it's quite wee. There we go. So I should have found whilst I had it paused there, I should have been smart and actually found the page that I required, but there you go. That would require a little bit more forethought than I appear to be capable of right now. So we have the Devil, Mischief, Mayhem, and then we have a story, the Punchline, okay? This card has come up for me before. And then again, we have the bit about how the item came into Monica's collection. We've got a message. So critical thought is required to ensure your character's actions. So my brain fog is clearly causing a bit of chaos in my brain box. Ensure your actions are thought-provoking, not controlling, which is interesting. So let's see. I mean, I've not really shuffled this deck with reversals in. I've just not read that, and I find that I don't really read with this deck so much with multiple cards. I've found I prefer just one. I don't know, maybe I'll get there with the multiple cards with this one, and again, that's another option with deep diving with this, and there are some spread options in here, you know. Maybe we'll have a look at that in a little bit. So you are a rebel who likes a practical joke. You have a dry wit and appreciate a sense of irony. Enjoy your nonconformist attitude and understand the importance of those we deem contrary people in society. The thing I found a lot, like I quite like the message and the story, the message and the reflections, rather, the prompts that in the reflection area of this book. I always find the actual advice very specific, I think is probably the word I want to use. Like, you are a rebel who likes a practical joke. Am I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, it's very like, it's a bit presumptuous of you. I don't know. That's the one thing I find about this particular guidebook. There's quite a bit of this going on, or like, you are a, let's just find another example. The boutique for the bound person. You are allowing the opinions of others to decide who and what you should be. See, that feels a little bit more like temporary. You are allowing, like currently, you are allowing. This is a thing that's happening, which I can kind of get behind. But when it's like, you are you're a bit of a joker and you love to like piss about and wind people up. Well, I don't know. I'm paraphrasing massively there. You are a rebel who likes practical joke. You have a dry wit and appreciate a sense of irony. I mean, I don't know. Am I a rebel? I don't know. I don't think I'm particularly conformist or conventional, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm a rebel. I'm not necessarily a fan of practical jokes. I think they can be quite mean. Maybe when I was a bit younger, I don't know. I do have quite a dry and quite dark sense of humour, and I definitely appreciate a sense of irony, but I think that's just because I'm British more than anything. So yeah, there's like, I guess I do have a non-conformist attitude. Maybe it is reading me for filth. I don't know. But yes, you get your advice. Maybe you write a little bit in your journal, you know, what maybe you read the story and have a few thoughts on that, and then you get to the reflections. So when have you manipulated people in your life? That's quite a sort of shadow work type of question. Do you find persuasion difficult to differentiate from manipulation? That's a very interesting prompt. When have you purchased or entered into agreements you later regretted? Oh, babe, so many times. I try not to do that now. The older I get, the less that happens. How do societal messages manipulate us in general? Wow, well, that's a really big one, considering all the crap that's going on in the world and sort of the media manipulation of and sort of governmental, you know, like the way that information is sort of controlled and like passed out or sort of presented to people, as it were. Do you ever see social media as manipulative? I guess it can be, and it can be quite insincere, but it can also be a really great space to connect and find like-minded folks. Are advertisements persuasive, manipulative? I guess it's it's meant to be both. I would say when it comes to big brands and big corps, it feels more manipulative because they do all those think tanks to sort of look into psychology and stuff, because they literally want to find out how to get your money, right? And where do you see persuasion as a positive thing? When I roll a nat 20 in D&D on a persuasion check, that's when it's positive. So yeah, that's one way. So using the book, I feel like I might have belabored the point a little bit with that. But again, you could also I guess use it in tandem. So with oh shit, I've just realised I've put it away. But let's draw a different card. You could pull one of these cards and then work with it in tandem with pen tip. That's not one that's come up for me before, so I won't be unfamiliar with the. And then I've got the Fifth Spirit Tarot by Charlie Claire Burgess, another one of my faves. Oh, hear that delicious susurration, the way the cards shush over each other as I shuffle. So yeah, I think that'll do, pig. And I'm just going to pull a single card. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune. So then you can be working with the book and then seeing how it relates to a tarot card. So we're not using this as a prompt, we're sort of reading them as a whole reading within themselves. So 18, let's have a look. The pen tip, create, fantasize, and then the story is literally called the storyteller, or the anecdote. I guess it's a anecdote, really. I believe these are all true instances. I don't know. The item, the pen nib, is from one of my favourite ink pens for drawing. I use it frequently to ink my illustrations. So maybe this pen tip was utilised in the creation of Monica's very first independent Lenormand, and then subsequently maybe the Shadowland Tarot and Shadowland Lenormand. That'd be very cool. Message: everything you draw, write, or make is unique, and you deserve the right to self-expression, autonomy, and community respect for your creative contributions. Okay, so we could be looking at how the ideas of creativity and self-expression relate to the Wheel of Fortune. I mean, this feels quite apt in a way for creativity, because sometimes it feels like you're caught in this cycle of like being really inspired, and you just sort of, you're churning stuff out on the wheel. Is maybe you're churning and you're just like, you're on a roll, you're being really prolific, and then you like burn, you're like pouring the rain, you're pouring out all of this like this not content, like creative work, these paintings, this whatever it is, whether you're writing or is it poetry or stories or sculpture, whatever it is, you're pouring and pouring and spinning, and then you burn out. Poof, you're done. Like you just hit this like wall, and you're like, I'm just done, I'm burnt, I just can't. And I find I get in this cycle quite a lot. And then we move on, we're moving on, the wheel is going, and we're like, oh, we're stuck in the weeds, we can't see where we're going, we're like, feel like we're never going to have a good idea ever again. I'm never going to create anything worth anything ever. I'm just done. I'm dried up as an artist or a writer or whatever it is, right? But you've got to, if you look here, we've got the greenery growing up here, this like shoots, this hope, these leaves, this new growth, and we go into the stars, the twilight, this beautiful night sky, the realm of dreams, the realm of ideas, the realm of thoughts, and you're starting to get these inspiration. Looking up at the sky, you look at the moon is just so inspiring, isn't it? And then boom, back you are, back into that cycle, and you're pouring out that work. Another thing, this person here is blindfolded, and it's almost like just trusting that is just the cycle. It just tends to go in that kind of the process. It just tends to trust the process, just let go, maybe just let go of the wheel, Jesus take the wheel, whatever, I don't know, like just trust in the process. And I think also for some people talk about when they are in a creative process, they are a conduit, right? Something's being channeled through them, and they're just sort of there to like be the medium that helps whatever it is that's coming through them be created, right? In this case, maybe a drawing or writing something, I don't know. So you could sort of start tying these in together, and then of course you could start to look at some of the questions here. So what were you told by teachers at school about your art, writing, or creative abilities? And this, with the Wheel of Fortune, I mean, you could sort of then link it in with like creative block, and talk like maybe a teacher sort of really poo-pooed your ideas and sort of made you feel like you were crashing and burning, or maybe they were really really encouraging and sort of really inspired you, or maybe were really supportive. So that's one of the prompts that you could tackle. Do you support others in creative endeavors is another question. Let's see. So yeah, so there's a number of other questions, but I realise I'm just sort of going through all the prompts in these cards, and I don't want to sort of belabor the point. But I'm just sort of riffing and doing a little reading, as it were, just to sort of show how different ways that you can work. So you can work with the guidebook, you can work just with the card. I mean, you could add another one. Oh, I mean, like, perfect, right? We've got the Knight of Wands, or maybe this is the first card we pulled. We've got the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands is often seen as like that process, trusting that process, the passion, they're the go-getter, the ideas, they're grabbing that stick, that flaming stick full of ideas. It's like there's a lot of movement and momentum here, trusting that process. So again, you could work with this and some of the prompts. So that's just one idea. And I'll grab another deck to look at the book and way to work with. And now this next deck I'm going to show you, I've had it for a short while, and I haven't sort of done much of a deep dive with it at all. So this is going to be like a super riffing. But let's see what happens. This is fun. I'm having a play. Hope you're enjoying this. So here I have the Oracle of the Roses by Sherilyn Darcy. I've only had this for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I've been really enjoying it so far. And despite a couple of little quibbles I had with regards to some repeat titles throughout the deck, which I still haven't quite worked out what's going on with that, but hey ho. So let's just see how an oracle deck can really differ regarding depending on the book. So if we look at this one, for example, okay, so we've got again a picture, a nice full color picture, just like the previous deck, the number and the title. We also get the the name of the rose, and whether it's, so this is in the wild roses section. This oracle has wild roses, garden roses, what was it, wild roses, then it goes into old garden roses and modern garden roses. That's it. I keep forgetting the terminology for the other two, the garden suits. Excuse me, getting a little froggy in the old throat here now. So we have the name of the rose. We then have the oracle meaning, the ethnobotanical archetype exploration. So basically it gives you like a little prompt, a little question, a little journal prompt. And then you have like the notes about the actual rose itself, botanical notes, and then you get like a little bit of like meanings, uses, deities that it could be related to, and the astrological sign. I'm gonna admit, like the deities and the deities thing, I don't know how I feel about that. It's all like it's pulling deities from all sorts of systems, cultures, and also I don't know like who decided that this relates to them. I don't know. I find that kind of, is it sort of like the personal gnosis of the creator? I don't know. And then astrologically, I don't often like really do astrology. I'm not very au fait with it. I find it sort of very confusing and head twisty, and I also like, yeah, it's a bit much for me, and it is, at least with tarot, like, and how it's all sort of layered over tarot. I feel like I've got enough to be getting on with. Maybe one day I'll sort of look a bit more. I've gotten a bit better over the last couple of years just by sort of trying to pay a bit more attention, but you know. But I do quite like just the little meanings and uses. So let's have a little play, shall we? So this has got this sort of, it's coming up very sort of like a tomatoey red on my camera, but it's much more raspberry in real life, you know, when I'm not looking through the screen. Just give it a little shuffle so I can do quite easily an overhand if it's kept vertical. And then there's the old side shuffle as well, the side riffle. So let's pull a card. Okay, the Outsider, which is funny because we pulled that devil that was like the rebel in the previous deck. So that tickles me. So this is a modern garden rose, and it's called the Duchess of Edinburgh Rose. So let's have a look. 39. The Outsider. Going against the flow could be a helpful way to gain additional insights. Often we can break up negative patterns and influences by ceasing to try and work it out, and by creating a new path with our own set of plans. Energies surrounding new ideas, opportunities, and even windfalls are present. The Outsider does risk loneliness when placed within groups that already have established codes, but they are the great disruptors and inventors that often create a change for the better and help others become inspired to do the same. And the ethnobotanical archetype exploration is, what do you do differently to everyone else around you? I could give you one sort of random but not very important one, is when I brush my teeth, I squeeze the toothpaste into my mouth and not on the toothbrush. And I don't know if I've been doing it my whole life, but it was only when like people were like, why do you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I think I used to put it on the tooth. I don't know why I do that. It's a thing. Does anyone else do that? And it's not like I squeeze loads of it. It's like a pea-sized amount, you know, like a little boop in the mouth, and I don't know. Is that weird? I don't know. There we go. Have I overshared there? Have I sort of given you some, unintentionally giving you some weird insight into my psyche? I don't know. Maybe it's just because I am impatient. So meanings and uses: alternatives, rebellion, change, independence, invention. Right? Deities: Prometheus and Artemis. Astrological sign: Aquarius. That's hilarious because my star sign is Aquarius. Okay, I hadn't seen that because I haven't pulled this card yet, so yeah, I guess it is reading me for filth. So there we go. So like I said, you can answer the question in your journal and you could just work with it like that, right? So the last couple of weeks, what I've done is I have pulled one of these archetypes as for an archetype of the week to sort of pay attention to. And the card that I have for this week, I'll just actually grab it right here on my altar is the Self, which it seems to talk about like the unconscious and the subconscious and sort of that sort of inner landscape of the psyche. But also I feel like it could speak to just sort of like self-care and sort of being sort of, you know, being very mindful of yourself. I've just had this has actually really made sense for me this week. So yeah, I've just been working with that archetype and like sort of dipping into my journal and a little bit and sort of doing a little bit of writing around that. And I will do a little at the end of the week. So tomorrow is Sunday. I will do like a little summarization of that in my divination journal. So yeah, so that's one way you could read with that and work with it, I guess, with this book. But then let's have another. Let's see some ideas. So the deck that I was really enjoying working with not with this week. I only pulled an oracle card on Monday because I just didn't have the spoons to do anything else. I didn't have the spoons to do my usual kind of tarot cartomantic reading for the week, and I was like, I'll just pull an oracle card, it's fine. Which it is. Sometimes we just don't have the capacity for any more than that, and I just sort of have to allow myself to, you know, to just, it's the grace to be able to do that or not do that, whatever way you want to look at it. But the Ostara Tarot just it works so beautifully with this deck. It just, I don't know, there's just something about the artworks seem to work together, even though there's 4 different artists work in this deck. There's just something about it, they just vibe nicely. Is that what the kids say, vibing? I don't know. So one of the ways, I guess, again, we could do what we did with the last one, which is where we pull 1 or 2 cards. I guess if I'm pulling a card and putting it either side, it's becoming a bit more like Dawn Michelle's way of working with the tarot and oracle, where the oracle is like providing the sort of main context, and then the tarot cards are giving you like additional information. So we've got strength. It takes strength to be an outsider. That's definitely true. Not to follow the, you know, the what's the word? The crowd, to sort of step aside and do your own thing, which I definitely like when people come up to you when you're wearing certain outfits and they're like, oh my god, you're so brave for wearing that. Like, especially when I was like super hardcore goth in my 20s, people are so brave for wearing that. I'm like, okay. And then this is the 2 of Wands. No, sorry, 2 of Wands. This the 6 of Wands. Can I count? Can I read Roman numerals? Clearly not. So the 6 of Wands. Oh, that's interesting with regards to, hang on. So it's usually like the victory, and we see like we often like strength and like sort of the victory card. Is it Wands? I'm forgetting now. It's not. Do you know what? This is the thing, right, with the Ostara Tarot. I love it, but sometimes it really like fucks with my head with the symbolism. I'm so sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's the Wands, because sometimes they have the artist that's done the Wands has some watery imagery in some of the cards, and it like throws me, and I have to like go into the guidebook and double check because it has color pictures in the guidebook. Anyway, so yeah, that's quite an interesting combo. So then you could be riffing, you know, writing journal prompt about what do you do differently to everyone else around you, which is the question, and then writing about how strength and sort of the 6 of Wands can either sort of assist in that or can tie into that sort of idea, which is pretty cool. Or another thing that I had an idea about when I was reading the meanings and uses here. So we've got alternatives, rebellion, change, independence, and invention. So I think another thing that you could do then with the oracle here is maybe pull cards from the tarot that you feel embody these kind of meanings and uses. So I think like strength works for independence, maybe, right? Let's see. So just sort of go through what I feel works for. We have the Queen of Wands works quite nicely for me with independence. For me, this is a card that I always want to embody, the Queen of Wands. I aspire to, and I've spoken about this in my 54321 tag that I created, that I aim to embody the Queen of Wands, but also the High Priestess. Oh, that one's upside down. Let's see. Alternative, rebellion, change, independence, invention. Let's see. What have we got? Let's have a look. I mean, what tarot cards? Let's throw it out to you folks watching. What cards would you relate to? You know, rebellion. I mean, I want to pull the Devil. There's the Devil. The Devil card feels quite apt for sort of rebellion. And then again, like the Wheel of Fortune is in the previous with change, right? It makes sense. So we've got change, we've got independence, we've got rebellion, we've got independence. Something for invention. What would be, maybe, I'm trying to think, what would be the invention card? I don't know. What would a card be that represents invention to you in the tarot, those of you watching? I feel like the Ace of Wands kind of speaks to that a little bit. So, but you get the idea. I mean, you don't have to pull one for every single meaning or use. This is actually quite a nice number, but having the 4 around it. But yeah, you could do like hold on. So you could do like a full, like, I still can't fit it in. But you get the idea, where you've got the 4 cards and you could sort of journal about it. Or again, you could use, if you're doing sort of spread machine-y stuff, you have, this is your sort of your main theme of your tarot spread, and then these cards represent your positions. So it's almost, again, you know, when you have Lenormand and you have you can do a grand tableau, but you could do a grand tableau with the houses where each card lays on a specific position, and then it gives the context of the meaning, a bit like a ginormous spread, right? A spread with 36 positions. So then you could maybe get another tarot deck, so you sort of can tell the difference between what is used as a prompt and what is not. So let me just grab another tarot deck. Okay, so I've grabbed my Aquarian in a tin because it's smaller, and yeah, it'll be easier to see the positions, a bit like using a larger Lenormand spread for the houses and then a smaller Lenormand spread. A smaller Lenormand deck for the houses, and flip it and reverse it. A larger Lenormand deck for the houses, that you lay them out, and then you put a smaller Lenormand deck on top so you can see the titles on the other cards. Is this making sense? I'm getting very tired now because I've been filming. This is my second video I've filmed, and I'm starting to feel it. My throat's really starting to go. And it's, yeah. I just felt like this would be a nice one to give it a little shuffle. Right, so Strength and the Lovers, Queen and the Chariot, the Wheel of Fortune and the 4 of Swords, and then the Devil and the 5 of Rods. That's interesting, 5 of Rods for rebellion, because that's like, you've got that sort of, you know, that there's a little bit like, you know, the people are sort of fighting each other, but is it play fighting? Is it like, can it get, you know, like play fighting gets a little bit too rough, and then suddenly it's not so fun anymore. It's not, or it's a bit more serious than people made it out to be. Strength and Lovers is a pretty lovely combination. Actually, look at those colours together. That's pretty great. The Chariot and the Queen of Wands. So we got like the Queen representing independence, and the Chariot, so, you know, the Chariot with regards to taking control, being independent, grabbing the reins, having the power. Let me just see if I can zoom out a little bit more. Hold on. Okay, you can kind of see a bit better. I've moved the ring light a little bit as well because the glare was getting on my nerves. But yeah, so we've got that sort of taking the reins and the independence. And then what was it? The strength represent. No, sorry, that was it. Sorry. What was strength? Can I remember? Or maybe I thought strength represented independence. I can't even remember. This is what happens when you film videos when you're really tired. Let's say the Queen of Wands is invention, right? Because she's wands and she's in control, and she's always coming up with new ideas. So the the Chariot taking the reins of invention, creativity, the Strength and Lovers for independence. That's interesting, actually. So Strength and Lovers. Maybe you're only able to be independent due to the support that you are getting from, like, you know, for example, there is things that I wouldn't be able to do without the support of my spouse that help me to sort of be strong and have that independence in a certain situation. Or if you were reading it, I guess, like a Marseille, if you had a Marseille, and like the idea of choice, right? Strength, choice, this strength to be able to make a decision and like stick to it and not to prevaricate. Again, depends on how you're reading. Again, I'm just riffing really quickly off the top of my head. And then, so we had change and the Four of Swords, change represented by the Wheel of Fortune and the Four of Swords here. So, sometimes we need to rest. Sometimes the rest is needed. Rest is the change. Sometimes we're sort of, like I had said in that previous situation with the Wheel of Fortune, with the previous Oracle deck, that we sort of go, and actually nothing changes because you're hitting a wall. Maybe you just need to take a step back and have that rest, give your mind a break, have that like R&R, and you come back refreshed, and you'll find that, you know, like go for a walk or like take the weekend off, I don't know, and come back refreshed and renewed, and it changes. And there was a change as good as a rest as well. Maybe just a little change is as good as a rest. See, and then with rebellion, again, we're coming back down to the Five of Rods and what that can mean. There's like this, again, we've got the rebellion and that friction between the rods, between the wands, that fire, the striking together, that rebellion, that sort of, you know. So that's quite a nice little, I don't know, that's quite fun. So just having a little riff. And what else? Were there any other ideas that I had for this? I mean, it would just be a reiteration of, like, you know, pulling more cards to go with this card. I guess again you could use the I mean, crazy notion, but maybe you could use the Oracle deck in the way that's suggested in the like spreads in the book, which I've not actually tried, to be honest. So let's see. The Wild Rose spread. A spread to find a quick solution. Should we give this one a go? I guess that is another way you could use a tarot deck, as intended. Wild, I know. Oh, that's funny because it's called the Wild Rose spread. So let's give it a little shuffly waffle. Shuffle waffle. And then we will... I might just zoom back in again because I'm like... this is very hard. I'm standing on like my yoga blocks quite precariously, and I'm clumsy. Right, I think that's enough room to get 3 cards in, do you think? So let's do 3 cards. Again, this is just a dummy reading. So a spread to find a quick solution. Rose 1, what must be let go? Rose 2, what must be kept? And Rose 3, what must be learned? What must? Very sort of definite sort of language there. What must be? You must do this. You must. How many times can I say? I feel like I'm just saying must loads now. Okay, all right, that'll do, pig. All right, let's say Rose 1, the rescuer. Rose 2, the priest. Rose 3, the architect. Okay, so we've got a modern rose, a wild rose, and a wild rose. Beep, beep. Okay, let's see. What must be let go? The rescuer. Okay. What must be kept? The priest. And what must be learned? The architect. So let's have a quick look at these. What must be let go? 41. So it's interesting, right? Because it's not tarot. I'm like, well, how does this relate to that? Right? So 41, the rescuer. What are you too dependent on, and how can you forge independence? We've got that independence coming up again. So what do you need to let go of? Something that you're too dependent on, if we're just going by like the questions. Self-help, solutions, dependability, honor, and healing. Well, I don't think you need to be letting go of self-help and dependability, I guess, could be seen as, I don't think there's necessary, people always talk about having to depend on people is like a bad thing, but you know, if we want to sort of build community and mutual aid and sort of a cohesive society, actually depending on other people is sort of necessary, and also quite a beautiful thing when it's achieved, although it can be very difficult to sort of get to that place, whether in smaller or larger groups. But yeah, so something that you're too dependent on, I need to let go. I'm interested about the priest, about the thing to keep. Let's have a little look-see. The priest, ethnobotanical archetype exploration. What would a simple new ritual that you create in alignment with your current beliefs look like? So something to keep. So keeping maybe a little daily offering, like, I mean, I have my own little rituals that I do every day, and I keep them because they provide me with something, and I enjoy doing them, and I feel that they're important to me. But maybe there's a little something I could add in, or something that I'd taken away that I could put back in and keep. You know, that's quite nice. And then what was it? Something to, I can't remember the third bloody prompt again now. My memory is just, can you see what I mean? Like, my memory is bobbins. Where's that bloody spread? Oh, there's more spreads. There we go. What must be learned? The Architect 5. Could I learn or reapply additional skills to create a better future? So the meanings and uses are precision, logic, solutions, investigations, and self-reliance. So the solutions, self-help and stuff was part of this sort of an independence. So you need to learn to not be too dependent on something or someone. Maybe there's a crutch that was helpful, and now actually that crutch, you don't need it anymore, babe. You've progressed, you've like leveled up, and you can let that go because you have that independence. You can be the architect of your own dreams. I don't know, that sounds a bit wanky. And also you can be, but also you can't be, right? Because it's sort of, we have to also take into account like societal structures and the way that like certain systems are set up, right, and people's situations with regards to this like socioeconomic like status and their health and well-being. There's like so many things that play into that, right? The things they have access to or have not had access to. Am I going a little bit social justice ranty? Maybe. Just like I can't help myself. So yeah, what, you know, where can you maybe these rituals or a daily thing that you do, you had a crutch, maybe you need to incorporate new things that are pushing you a bit more, or something that you provides you a bit of nourishment, I don't know, like spiritually, emotionally, I don't know, physically, I don't know. And then sort of learning a new skill and that, and coming up with new solutions or ideas. You know, so I love that we're letting go of that dependence, and this one being self-reliance. So yeah, this is again getting to be quite a long video. I do have another like selection of decks with regards to ideas on how to sort of deep dive work with oracle decks and sort of oracle and tarot decks together, but it will need to be a separate video. If I had filmed all of these 3 ideas that I had for these notes that I'd written down like as jumping off points, the video would probably end up being like 2.5 hours long. So yeah, I think it's good that I stop it here. But again, like, let me know your thoughts. Did you find this kind of video helpful, useful, interesting? You know, comments in the I always say comments in the description box. No, I'm the only one that can write comments in the description box. Comments in the comment down below. I'm getting tired. I think I'll need to leave the 3rd video for another day. I'll film that at a different time because yeah, I don't think I have the brain space to like, I'm gonna start really like struggling to find my words and well, there we go, doing it already, and then stuttering. So I think I'll need to leave that. But yeah, let me know what you think. I want to know what decks recommendations that you find are like sort of juicy, with have like good books that you can sort of dig into. And yeah, I really appreciate you for taking time out of your valuable day, your valuable time, to spend some of it with me. I mean, oh my goodness, thank you. And yeah, I hope that wherever you are watching and or listening to this, that you are safe and you are well, and hopefully you'll come back and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.